Good evening and welcome to this edition of Eastvale Crime Watch and Reporting Show. We are glad that you are with us today. It appears all systems are go. As I look at everything here, I'm trying to see if we've got our comment screen going. And let me just make sure that that is set. So comments, there we are. And we had a little bit of a power surge here a few moments ago, and we're thinking that had to do with the fact that all the fires and everything that are taking place. But we're glad you're here. It looks as though we have 10 people viewing the show. We're glad that you are going to tune in tonight. We have a very, very packed show. If you'd like to ask a question at some point, if you want your name and your picture to be displayed, at the very top of the post tonight, you'll see I'm broadcasting on Ecamm Live. Just click that, and it gives permission for your profile thing to be shown in the video. Otherwise, what happens is just your comment shows, and then after the show is completely over, your comment is displayed in the regular Facebook protocol. But we have a lot going on, and we have a fire happening. As many of you know, we are in the middle of Fire Prevention Week. And our fire department is busy helping with a number of local fires. But before we get too far into things, we have some breaking news that we really want to talk about tonight with all of you. And it had to do with a robbery that took place on October 8th. You need to understand that the crime page has almost 10,000 members throughout our wonderful city. And we have an excellent working relationship with the RSO, or our police department, Riverside Sheriff's Office. And with that relationship, there are times that we don't always put things on the page, or we remove things because an active investigation is taking place, and we never want to jeopardize the chance to catch the bad guy or put officer safety at risk. And you may ask, well, how come it would help if we had more eyes looking for a suspect? Let me give you a perfect example of this. About 4 weeks ago, there was an entire mailbox stolen, and we had 2 or 3 of our viewers text myself and a couple of the other admins, hey, here's a video of what happened. And we were able to work with RSO. They looked at the videos, and we kept everything offline, so they were able to create a sting, get warrants in place so they could do everything correctly so the bad guys wouldn't walk. And we took some time. We didn't share it with everybody. And wouldn't you know it, they went in, they made arrests. They were able to arrest 2 of the 3 people that were involved. And they were able to get a lot of other information for other crimes. So that's the reason we don't always post things out. And if someone gets ready to post something, we may contact you and, hey, can we hold this back for a while? So a lot of times you may see things on the Ring doorbell app, or you may see things on the neighborhood, the neighborhood thing. I'm not sure exactly what that's called, that one app that you can sell everything under the sun on. But a lot of times that stuff's not verified, it's not validated, and we do our best here on Eastvale Crime Watch and Reporting to make sure that everything is validated before we put it up, and we would never jeopardize an active investigation. And that's the case with this October 8th robbery that took place. It happened between 12:30 at night and 1:30. We're not providing you with the description of any types of suspects that we've been informed of, and the reason for that is we want you to go through your cameras. If you live off of Oakdale by Serafina, go through your cameras on the night of October 8th between 12:30 and 1:30 in the morning and look and see if you see anything out of the ordinary. Do you see cars that normally aren't there? Do you see cars that are going by slowly? Do you have a license plate reader? You're able to pick some of this up. If you do, we are going to ask you to reach out to the Sheriff's Department at 951-776-1099 and ask for the Harupa substation and share that information with them. I know sometimes viewers are hesitant about working with the police department. They're afraid to be a witness, and we understand that. You can reach out to Mike Gayton, G. Goot, David Ruggio, Eric Martin, or myself, and you can PM us, and we will be the go-between for you to try to get that. We will actually get that information off to the appropriate people at RSO. Working together, we will solve crimes. And those of you who have been a member of the crime page for any amount of time know that we have been actively involved in a number of felony arrests over the last 2 years because of you, the people in Neighborhood Watch, the people who see something, say something, who have video cameras out there. And I tell you, this is another reason that we plead with each of you to register on the camera database. We'll put a link to that in the show notes at the end today. Just go in and register. You're not giving any personal information. You're not giving the police unfeathered access to your cameras. All that you're doing is giving them information saying, hey, I have cameras at my house, and it can really speed up an investigation. The quicker they can get their facts, the more likelihood it is of them solving a crime and preventing a future crime. So just know this October 8th robbery that took place, the Sheriff's Department is fully involved in it. No residents are currently in danger, and they have some good leads that they're currently working, and they don't want to jeopardize that. But we knew about it here on the page. We just didn't want to post it, and that's why we do it. We try to look out to the best interests of everybody. Well, what's so ironic is this is Fire Prevention Week, and wouldn't you know it, we have some fires. They didn't quite get prevented. Mother Nature came in and said, hey, we're going to give the fire department a few things to work on, and we want you to make sure you keep the firefighters in your prayers and your positive thoughts as they're working these dangerous situations. With these high winds, fires can switch at a moment's notice. Over the last couple days, we have been celebrating Fire Prevention Week with giveaways. We've been giving away some fire extinguishers. Friday, we're going to give away a carbon monoxide detector. But let's see here. We have a fire extinguisher to give away from yesterday, right here, a basic unit fire extinguisher. This is good for up to 12 years. It's a one-time use. It's an ABC fire, which means it can get common fires, liquid fires, and electrical fires. And we are going to give this fire extinguisher away on the on the Wednesday drawing, which had 119 people involved. And we are going to do that right now. Mike Gayton is standing by to look to see who the winners are going to be. So we go here to our random number generator. I bring it up. Oh, what happened here? All right, I bring up the random number generator. There it is. Go to the bottom section. Backspace 119. Whoops, 119. I hit generate, and the winner is 111. So what Mike's going to do is he'll go through, he'll determine who 111 is on the comments, and by the end of the show, we will be able to let you know who won. On Monday, Amanda Castro won a fire extinguisher. On Tuesday, Beatrice Gutierrez Salcido won a fire extinguisher. And on Wednesday, I'm not sure who's going to be. Now today, Thursday, let me go back here and look. We are going to do today's drawing. And Mike sent over to me that there were 76 entries for today. So what we will do is go back to our random number generator. Hang on one second here. It looks like Mike may have... Oh, Annie Wu. Annie Wu, you are the winner of the Wednesday fire extinguisher. And we will have PM me or Mike Gayton, and we'll arrange for you to be able to pick that up. So Annie Wu is the winner for our fire extinguisher. Mike, man, you are getting really fast at this. So let's see here. Our random number generator for Thursday's fire extinguisher is this one. This is a really good one. Oh my goodness, this is a heavy fire extinguisher. This is actually a rechargeable fire extinguisher, and it's good. It's rated for 3A, 40B, and C, which means this is a workhorse. It really has the opportunity to put some fires out. It's ideal for heavy-duty use. It can be fit inside a standard firebox, and it meets all standards for Coast Guard approved and vehicles. But this is a great one that you could put in your garage or someplace that you might have a little bit bigger type of fire, and it's fully rechargeable. So this is going to be a great win. And being the fact that Mike told me that was called the Nextdoor app that I was trying to think of, and I was having a hard time. So we are going to go back here to our drawing, and I'm going to enter in the number 76. I thank everybody for the likes. We've got 12 viewers on so far, 11 likes. And let's go here. We've got a 1 to 76. We hit generate. Winner is number 50. Number 50 is tonight's winner for the Thursday night fire extinguisher. And that is a really good one. And I'm sure Mike right now is going through, and he will be able to tell us who won that fire extinguisher here in a few moments. But I really appreciate everybody who's signing in tonight. This is a great show that provides you with an opportunity to get information about our community. I want to share with you that we have two really big guests coming up in the next couple weeks, and we're just trying to work out the final dates. They have committed to coming on the show, and the way we are going to try to get guests is by comments that we see prevalent on the crime page, things that seem to be of interest or concern for you. So one of our next guests is going to be from Vector Control, and that's Director Bill Van Dyke. Director Van Dyke will be coming on. We'll be talking about all types of bugs. We'll be talking about mosquitoes, spraying protocols, and everything like that. And that is going to give you the opportunity to tune in here, ask him about spraying protocols, ask them what you can do to prevent mosquitoes, which is pretty obvious. Don't allow standing water. But you're going to get the chance to ask the questions that you're always posing on all of the different social medias, and Google experts are replying rather than actual subject matter experts. So we look really forward to Director Van Dyke coming on the show. And the next one is a really big person coming on the show, and that is the superintendent of the Corona Norco Unified School District. Dr. Michael Lynn has agreed to come on the show. We are going to have the opportunity to talk about discipline procedures, discipline policies, bullying, school resource officers, and how your children are safe at school. I know Dr. Lynn takes school safety extremely serious, as does everyone on his team in the Corona Norco Unified School District. And this is going to give you a chance to ask questions. I know with all of the recent new laws affecting the California Ed Code, it has created a number of questions that you might have. And who better to ask than the superintendent, the head of the school, who is in charge of making those decisions. Now, the winner for Thursday night's fire extinguisher, I don't know if there's any relation, but Cookie Serrana Castro is the winner for Thursday night's fire extinguisher. She was number 50. That's Cookie Serrano Castro. It's kind of funny. We had an Amanda Castro win on Monday night. I wonder if they are related. I understand there are cookies in Deanna. That was a song my parents used to sing me when I was a little lad. But anyway, congratulations, Cookie. We're glad that you won that. But we will let you know the dates that the superintendent, Dr. Lynn, and Director Van Dyke are going to be on. I'm sure you are going to be able to come up with a list of questions, and the great thing is we're going to be able to put those on and get those answered for you firsthand, so that you're not getting secondhand information, and I think those will be a really good opportunity for everybody. Everything I understand, open house is still on this Saturday at the fire station. That's Station 31 on Chandler. That's 14491 Chandler Street. Open house starts at 10:30 in the morning. This is a great event to bring the entire family out to. There's no cost to you. What better way to entertain the kids than going out to the fire station, getting them the opportunity to see a fire truck, looking at the firehouse. Where do the firemen sleep? Where do they work out? Where do they cook these amazing meals that they always eat? And from my understanding, they're going to be having some demonstrations of different things that they utilize throughout the course of their jobs. So you want to mark that on your calendars. This Saturday at 10:30, the Chandler Fire Station, Station 31, they are going to roll out all the stops for our community. And what a great opportunity. If you have a Cub Scout troop, Girl Scout troop, a church, small group, great place to go to learn more about what our first responders do for us. And we really hope that you have the opportunity to get over there and thank them for everything they're doing. It's great tonight. Our show is, we're doing really good. We have 21 likes, and we have 18 people currently viewing, which is really good. I just want to give you a recap. Our first show that we had with Brandon Plott and Todd Rigby, we've had over 3,000 people watch 40 to 50% of the video, and 1,500 people have watched the entire video. So that is some really good stats. I feel sad for the fire department, but we have only had 600 people watch the video there, and 400 people have watched the entire video. So fire is just as important as neighborhood watch. They're things that work together. But tonight, one of the things that we hear about all the time in the city of Eastvale, that is our traffic issues. And everybody wants to talk about the bad drivers in Eastvale. I know that Mike Gayton runs a driver's page that you're allowed to talk anything about drivers that you want that we kind of keep off of the main crime page. But you would think we have the worst drivers in the world right here in Eastvale. But I've driven in other countries and other places here in the United States, and I got to tell you, it's not just Eastvale, it's everywhere. So as we were putting this show together, we thought, what better thing to do than to find someone who could be a subject matter expert, and we found that person. That person is Motor Mark, and I'm going to bring Motor Mark on right now. Mark, are you there?
I am.
Mark, thank you so much for being on the Eastvale Crime Watch show. Tonight is the first night. We're going to have a segment maybe once or twice per month that Motor Mark is going to come on. We are going to talk about different topics related to traffic. And there he is. He waved to everyone out there. And if you have any questions about traffic that you would like to ask, put them in the comments section, and I will send them over to you. Let's hear. Congratulations to my wife, Cookie Serrano Castro. She won Thursday evening for the fire extinguisher. Oh, how nice. Husband's giving his wife a shout-out. That's really good. So anyway, Motor Mark is here. Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a resident of Eastvale now since 2006, and I retired from the Ontario Police Department just to the north here back in December of 2016 after 32 years in law enforcement. I served as a motorcycle officer for 9 years at the very forefront of my career, and was an accident reconstructionist. So I have a little bit of experience in investigating collisions and things of that nature, and traffic safety issues.
Very good, very good. So we're starting to get some questions. I'll let you know that Mark and I don't always have the inside track on some information. Someone just asked us if we knew when the lights at the high school are going to start working. Mark might know. I have no clue, but we will definitely find out for you. But hey, Mark, what would you say is one of the most dangerous issues when it comes to traffic safety?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of traffic safety issues out there, but I think the one that sticks out most in my mind that we see every day on the news is pedestrians. Pedestrians getting hit by cars, crossing the street, and it's almost an epidemic of sorts. And there really is no reason for it to happen. And so I think people just need to pay attention to their surroundings when they're out there walking around, and when you're driving looking for pedestrians.
I see that we have a lot of these, I think they're called delineators. Do you think they help any in helping traffic safety?
Delineators as far as what kind of delineators?
Like if we're going down Scholar Way, you see all those little white cones. I don't know if that's called a delineator or whatever. They look like there's tons of them. I know going down to Mexico, there's certain areas that they have like tons of them crossing the street.
Yeah, I mean, they serve a purpose, and it's basically to just serve as a divider in the roadway of sorts. Most people will go over a bot dot, but if they see a delineator that sticks up out of the street, they're probably going to try to avoid that because they don't want it to damage their vehicle.
So what would you say in all of your years of traffic accident reconstruction and writing tickets and everything is the leading cause of collisions today?
Speed.
Okay. On the freeway, neighborhoods, or what?
Everywhere. Speed is the mother of all evils. Then you got distraction and right-of-way violations, and it all correlates back to speed. Driving your vehicle at a safe speed so that you can react to some of the issues that you're going to encounter. Cars pulling out in front of you, pedestrians running out in front of you, balls being thrown into the street. It's speed. If you're driving your vehicle at a safe speed, the chances are you're going to be able to react to a lot of dangers in front of you.
So you're an Eastvale resident, and you put out a wonderful video about traffic during the festival recently. As you drive around, what do you think our biggest issues are in Eastvale by drivers?
But there's so many. But I would have to say that, speed is number one, but, distracted driving. I mean, people are on their cell phones all the time. They are looking down at those new fancy screens that we all have in our cars. If you have a new car, most of them have the touch screens nowadays, and that's a distraction in itself. And it just the emphasis has to be on getting your face out of your cell phone, off of your dashboard, and to the street in front of you. And, I can't tell you how many times you see my motorcycle. I can split traffic because that's allowed here in California, but I can't tell you how many times I pull up in between traffic and people are just, at a red light, talking on their phone, texting, even driving. They're looking down at their phone. I see it all the time. And as a motorcyclist, I watch for those things because they're going to hurt me.
So, as a traffic officer and a traffic sergeant, I'm sure you have had to see some hilarious ways drivers are distracted. Can you recall one that stands out in your mind?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to share it with us?
Sure.
All right.
This was years and years and years ago. Mission Boulevard, if anybody's aware of it, over by Grove Avenue. I'm riding my motorcycle, headed towards Archibald Avenue from Grove. And it's early in the morning, and I see this young lady pass me, and I'm on my motorcycle, and she is actually putting on her mascara on her eyes while she's driving the car with her visor down so that she could see. She passed me so fast, I don't think she realized I was a motorcycle cop. So I ended up stopping her and writing her for unsafe speed.
Very good. So is there anything we can do to turn the tide here in the city to prevent collisions or improve traffic safety, you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the simple answer to that is just paying attention. As a pedestrian, paying attention to what's going on around you, but as a motorist, paying attention to all of your surroundings. And again, eliminate those distractions in your vehicle. Your phone, put it on Do Not Disturb. If you are prone to letting that phone distract you, put it on Do Not Disturb. But paying attention, and for pedestrians, don't give yourself a false sense of security when you're crossing a street or walking across the street in a crosswalk. I know legally you're in the crosswalk and you have the right of way, but a car, you're never going to win against a car. They're just too big. And I think a lot of people have a false sense of security when they're in crosswalks or crossing the street.
Mark, I know we were going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, but you talked about crosswalks right now. You have something really personable about crosswalks and your wife that almost happened to your family.
Yes.
Can you share that with everyone?
Absolutely. And again, it all comes down to distraction. But my wife and I were on a walk, and so we were almost towards the end of our walk, and we were getting ready to cross Sumner at 65th Street. Now, this was years ago, and this was before the actual stop sign or the traffic signal was there. This is when we had a four-way stop. So, it was fairly early in the morning, and there was the commuter traffic that was on the road, and it gets pretty backed up there. But cars had stopped at the stop sign, and my wife and I were getting ready to cross. Well, I noticed that the car closest to us was stopped, allowing us to cross, and the car next to it, which was in the number 2 lane, was stopped, and they saw us, and we made eye contact. But and then my wife started to run across the road, but she did not clear the number 1 lane. Well, I looked and I saw I'll never forget it. It's one of those ugly green Jeep 4 doors coming. I mean, it must have been doing about 50 miles per hour northbound on Sumner, just coming up to 65th. And I grabbed my wife by her collar and I pulled her back, and the guy ran right through the stop sign, passing all the stop traffic.
Oh, my word.
If I wouldn't have been there, she would have been killed. There was no way she would have been able to survive that kind of auto-ped collision.
That's horrific. Hey, we have someone here who made a comment that is really good, and it says here, I always teach my kids to make eye contact before crossing. Some drivers don't care if you have the right-of-way. Some drivers even know the rules of the road.
They don't. And it all comes down to impatience, and that, you really think about it, but adults need to go back to basics as well as when it comes to traffic safety. What do we teach our kids when they're crossing a street? We teach them to look one way, look the other, look back to the other. And another thing I want to say is if you see a car that's coming and you can't judge the speed of that car, and you think you're safe, err on the side of caution and just let it pass you. I mean, you're wasting maybe 3 or 4 seconds, but don't cross if you think that there's even a remote chance you're going to get hit.
Another one of our viewers says that traffic around the schools is a big issue. Many near misses are reported daily. It's just a matter of time before something tragic happens. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I agree. I'm somewhat of an older fella, and I come from a time when in kindergarten I walked to school, and we have a different generation, and it's just that people are able to take their kids to school and they feel that strongly about their safety. But the other thing you have to consider is you need to be patient around the schools. You're going to have to wait in line. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to make the line go any faster. So if you gear your mind towards, hey, I'm going to be there for 25, 30 minutes, then it's not going to bug you when it goes a little bit longer. But, they're children, they're pedestrians, and, they're our future. And it's important just to exercise some patience. And there's not much more I can say about that. It's pretty elementary.
Absolutely. And, there's an old saying that no good deed goes unpunished. I know we had some parents recently who have started holding signs outside schools to slow down and really taking it upon themselves to raise the awareness. And I was extremely disheartened when I heard that one of the classroom teachers came out, confronted them that they were causing students to be late to class by slowing up traffic. And it was very disheartening. I know that in talking to the principal, that was not the principal's feelings at all, and it was just a rogue teacher. But we need to get everybody to know that it's better to be 4 minutes late to class than ever,
And then there's that. And but bottom line is we all need to exercise some discernment,
right,
at times like that. And but you can't, one teacher may get upset about someone being 4 minutes late. It is what it is. That's the time to complain to the school district, if not the principal.
Right. We have another comment here that says, I can't stand those drivers who don't wait for people to get all the way across the street before they make their right-hand turns. Has the law changed any there, Mark, that you know of about crossing and when you're allowed to start to take off now?
It has. And I can't remember the exact year that it happened. I want to say probably in 2008 or 2009 it changed. But prior to the change in the law, pedestrians had to make it from one side of the street all the way to the other side of the street before you could make a turn or proceed through a stop sign. And the law changed, and now what it allows is it allows for a driver of a vehicle to make a turn or proceed straight as long as that pedestrian is no longer a risk or poses a problem to them hitting them. So let's just say you're in the northbound lanes and you're at a stop sign and the pedestrian crosses across. You don't have to wait for them to cross the southbound lanes now. You can, as soon as they get out of your danger zone, you can go ahead and proceed. But it's always a good idea to err on the side of caution, especially if it's a lady holding a little child. Assume that child's going to break free and run back the other way. It's always a good idea to exercise some caution and proceed safely. And if need be, just wait until they get to the other side.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Motor Mark on with us, and Mark is a retired police officer sergeant who worked motors and traffic for the longest time, a traffic accident reconstructionist. So we're talking to a real subject matter expert, not someone who got a degree on Google or Facebook, a Facebook lawyer, as we like to call them, and is giving you their opinion of what they think they heard from their friend's best friend, whose friend is a police officer. Mark was in the trenches. Mark was out there. He was riding that iron pony, writing citations every day. So this is where you come to hear the subject matter expert and to be able to get the true firsthand information. So, Mark, with that being said, what are some key points of safety that all motorists can take into account?
Well, never, for pedestrians, again, never assume that the cars see you out there. Never assume that the driver of a vehicle is paying attention to you. Uh, for drivers out there, never assume that you're immune from hitting someone or another car, a pedestrian. And again, the emphasis should be on driving your vehicle, riding your motorcycle, riding your bicycle. The emphasis should be on getting from point A to point B safely, and diverting all of your attention to that task. When you start deviating from that, that's when you're going to start running into problems.
Very good. Now, I hear a lot of people talk about bicycles have to follow the rules of the law, or rules of the road, excuse me, and that they are the same as a car. How about the parents that tell their kids, I don't care about the rules, I want you riding your bike on the sidewalk? Does that create issues of itself, or what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a hard one. And the reason it is because, my heart and my mind tells me, for a child to be up on the sidewalk, it's safer, rather than out on the highway.
Absolutely.
Where a car can come up from behind and hit you. But that being said, bicyclists have to follow the same rules of the road as a vehicle does. And so imagine, if you will, and this is one of my fears when I pull out of my community here, is I always stop before I cross that sidewalk, because I don't know if some kid's going to be riding his bicycle from out of my view. So I stop a little bit behind the crosswalk, and then I inch forward and I wait, and I make sure that there's no one running or no bicycle that's riding on the sidewalk before I make my turns and enter the highway. I know it's a little bit, hyper about it, but it's one of my big fears, is hitting someone like that. And then as a parent, if you're telling your kids to do that, then you have to understand that if you tell them to do that, if they ride off into the roadway from a sidewalk and get hit by a car, that, in all likelihood, your child is going to be found at fault in the traffic accident because they weren't riding the bicycle on the right side of the street where they're supposed to. So it's a win-lose situation. I mean, it is what it is.
I agree with you. I can't count the number of times I come out of my track and I'm going to make a right turn, and the street I'm turning onto is pretty busy, and I'm making sure I'm clear to the left and I'm not going to get hit. And when I get ready to make that turn, all of a sudden somebody is coming from the wrong side,
exactly,
and coming off, and I slam on the brakes, and oh my gosh, it's taken a few years. That's what some of these gray hairs are from. Looks like it's happened to you too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But another thing I want to really, before I lose this thought here, is the other thing I notice all the time is we have a traffic helmet law for bicyclists, for children, and as soon as they drive out that driveway and mom and dad can't see them anymore, that helmet comes off and it gets thrown around the handlebars. And it would be pretty ironic if the helmet could have saved you in a bicycle accident had you been wearing it rather than having it wrapped around your handlebars. So, parents, be diligent with your children. Buy them good helmet wear and make sure that they wear it. And I think the schools also need to be a little bit more diligent. When they see the kids rolling up to school on the bicycle not wearing their helmet, and they need to, also reemphasize with the child, the need for and the safety of the helmet.
Absolutely. It takes a village to help each other raise your kids successfully. And parents, if someone says something to your child about them not driving safe, I've seen it a number of times that people have posted on the crime page, hey, little Billy was out right in the middle of the street, or this kid cut off. And I see parents get so upset. How dare you call a child out for that? Personally, I have 3 grown kids. I would much rather have seen them get called out on a social media page for acting stupid like a kid. I know I've done it 100 times. And come home for dinner, and I get a chance to correct them so that I can see them the next day, than rather than get hit by a car and killed. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have Motor Mark on with us, and Mark is a retired motor officer, a sergeant, and has years of writing traffic tickets, doing traffic accident reconstruction. He knows the vehicle code inside and out. this is the person to ask if you have a question, rather than posting on Facebook and letting a Facebook attorney try to answer the question. So here's a comment someone put. My father always told me not to be afraid to miss an exit or turn, that I could always turn around later down the road for safety.
Absolutely.
It taught me patience. Patience is the key on foot or by car. I'd rather ride safe than regret it. Thoughts, Mike? Mark, sorry.
That's so true. And a lot of times when I would write citations for people exceeding the speed limit, one of the things I asked them is, or told them is, the time that you were saving by speeding, you're wasting with me writing you a citation and holding you up. And in the scheme of things, you're only going to get to your destination 5 or 6 minutes quicker. I mean, you'd have to be going really, really, really fast in order to cut some time off of your drive, and it's just not worth it. Because also, if you're driving in excess of, grossly over the speed limit, and you get into an accident and someone gets killed, a lot of other things are going to happen to you. You're going to probably get charged with some criminal offense because of your speed. And I can tell you nowadays, accident reconstructionists are well versed in determining the speed of vehicles. So it's just not worth it. Just take your time, leave a little early, and slow down.
Right. And you may think you know the traffic laws, and we saw this firsthand. Mark and I talked about this. As someone posted a potential accident here, and they gave us their viewpoints on it and what they thought that. And at the end of the day, they were we're not going to use any names, but they were completely wrong, weren't they, Mark? Can you remember back to that one?
Yeah, I do. And, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but, the traffic accident investigation, it is what it is. There's, the evidence is what it is. There's nothing you can do to refute it. But, as an accident investigator, one of the things that we have to do is we have to actually do you still have me on camera?
Yes, I do. You're on camera.
Okay. All right. So one of the things we have to do is we really have to dissect what happened. Sometimes it's very easy, and other times you have to break it down into little places. And a person, may adamantly think that they didn't do anything wrong, but the laws of the vehicle code come into play, and that's how we apply them. Someone always has to be at fault in a traffic accident, and then, as unpopular as that may be, it is what it is. And no one wants to be the party at fault, but, it is what it is. I've been the party at fault. So, I didn't like it, but,
Right. And that's why it's called an accident.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be traffic purposes and then jail
right.
all the time. But that's not what we're having. So it's a traffic collision, and it's an accident. No one wants to go out and wreck their car or wreck somebody else's car. I don't think people leave their houses intent on wrecking someone's car. I mean, you may have a wacko out there that wants to do that, but by and large, people just want to get to where they need to go.
Well, Mark. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other questions that you think you might like to ask Mark about traffic laws here in Eastvale, we're going to have other shows with Mark on. I know in the future we're going to be talking about the traffic circle, and we're going to be talking about a few other things that take place in Eastvale commonly and all the different road construction issues. So if you have anything, put it in. Let us know right now, and I'll get those to Mark. I know someone said, who wants to buy my Harley? After some of the horror stories.
I wish I could.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, that seems to be the questions. It looks as though we had a really popular night. A lot of thumbs up. Mark, you got 48 thumbs up. You got a lot of love from people. I think this is a segment that everyone is really going to love. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a comment. Let me put this on here and see if we can get this up on the screen. It says, today I was driving north on Etiwanda towards Limonite. So let's picture that. Etiwanda towards Limonite. Oh, exactly. A school bus in front of me slowed down, pulling to the right. At this time, I stopped, anticipating the stop sign and the flashing red lights from the bus. After some time, the sign was posted and the lights came on. Drivers need to be cautious and slow down. So I guess it's more of a statement than it was a question.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that whole
Well,
school
no,
bus thing?
absolutely. Well, what you have there is you have a person who's exercising caution.
Absolutely.
And rather than, it's like the 16-year-old who's going to rush the yellow light and hopes they can make it through the intersection. You have just the opposite here. You have a person that's exercising caution. They're anticipating that there might be a danger and they're reacting to it. Now, this may make the person behind you lose their mind, but that's the way you have to drive a car.
Right.
Because whoever her or his car is no match for a little child coming off of a school bus.
Right.
And so kudos to you for doing that. And it's
Great
great to
job.
hear that you have that kind of foresight.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I just can't thank you enough for tuning in tonight and talking to Mark, and Mark for taking time from your busy schedule to come on and talk with the people of Eastvale and provide some very helpful information. I know as this show progresses, the questions are going to get more advanced, and hopefully we'll be able to get some teenagers on here who are just started driving, who they can talk to Mark firsthand and learn ways that they can be safe. I know that the schools have a number of excellent programs like Every 15 Minutes and Driver's Ed, but we really need to focus with our young ones, and the best way we can do that is more is caught than is taught. So if you're flying down the freeway and you're cussing at every Sam, Dick, and Harry and giving them the one-digit salute, the kids kind of figure it out and catch this, and that's kind of how they start to drive. So, Mark, thank you again. Do you have any closing comments you want to make?
Yes, I do. I wanted to give a couple shout outs that I
All
should
right.
have at the beginning here. G. Goot, who is a very, very dear friend of mine, and he's still working at a local law enforcement agency here. Some of you may know. Thank you for your service, G. Goot. We always look forward to hearing from you. And I also want to give a shout out to my daughter, Tiffany. It's her 27th birthday today. Happy birthday, mija.
All right. Happy birthday.
Thanks for letting me be part of this. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Mark, thank you very much, and we will have you back on in a couple of weeks, and go enjoy your evening. Thank you so
I
much,
will.
Mark. All right, bye-bye. All right, God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, so that was Motor Mark. As you see, we had a very fully packed show tonight, a lot going on that I would just kind of like to recap with you. Yes, that is the fire in the background that's taking place right now in Moreno Valley. It's not a good thing. Our firefighters are working hard in very tough situations right now. There is an open house coming up this Saturday at 10:30 at Chandler Station 31, and that's at 14491 Chandler Avenue. I'm sure if our firefighters are called out and they're not going to be able to do it, we will have some notice to be able to let people know, and we will post that right here on the crime page so that you know. So make sure you're checking there. Just a reminder of our two big guests that we have coming down the road, and we'll put that out there as soon as we know. Dr. Michael Lynn, the Superintendent of Instructions for Corona Norco. That man has a very big and important job, and he will be coming on, and we'll have the opportunity to talk to him about all the new ed codes and discipline and bullying procedures that take place within the school district, and how even our school district hands are tied sometimes by state laws and the California Ed Code. And then also another hot topic for many of you was mosquitoes and vector control. So we're going to be getting Director Bill Van Dyke on, and he's going to be answering some of your questions that you have in regards to ways to take care of pests. And we're not talking about your neighbor. We're talking about those little ones that fly around. And finally, as we're wrapping up Fire Prevention Week, there is one more drawing, and that will take place tomorrow at about 8 o'clock. That is for a carbon monoxide detector. I'm talking to Mike G., David Ruggio, and Eric Martin. We received our ladder, a 2-story fire safety ladder. We're going to figure out how exactly we're going to give that away and make that a fun event for those of you who are tuning in. We still are over almost 60 likes for what Mark did tonight. We really appreciate Mark, and we hope that becomes a valuable take. We're also coming back to 60 Seconds to Survive. We've talked about the different things you need to do to get ready for a disaster. And just a big final shout out to Amanda Castro, our Day 1 winner, and Beatrice Gutierrez Salcido, our Day 2 winner, Annie Wu, our Day 3 winner, and today the big winner was again, Oh my goodness. Cookie Castro was the big winner today. I didn't write it down. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we can't thank you enough for making Eastvale Crime Watch and Reporting the #1 source in the city to go for, or to go to, for keeping each other safe. We're really working together to make Eastvale a great place to raise a family. And just know the admin worked very hard to make sure we get you information so that you can work together to keep your neighborhood safe. Well, until next Thursday at 7:30, I hope that all of you have a wonderful day. I hope the wind isn't too bad for you and that you were able to get ahead of it. We'll see you next Thursday, and those of you that are tuning in for the drawing tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I hope one of you win the carbon monoxide detector. Thanks so much for being loyal guests.